Hello, my name is Miriam Calderon. My topic for this class that I decided to research is preterm births. So in this PowerPoint, I will be going over definition of what a preterm birth is, why it's important in maternal and children's health care, why it's important to me personally, and then furthermore, I'll go into Nebraska and national data trends, and then any ideas that I may have on improving the rates of preterm birth in our community. So a little background information on what preterm births are. Definition of a preterm birth is an infant born at or before 37 weeks gestation. And then furthermore, the medicine.net defines period of gestation as a fetal development period from time of conception until birth. Why would something like this be a bad thing in medical care? The brain, lungs, and liver need these final weeks in utero of this pregnancy to fully develop. So the CDC states that the earlier a child is born, the greater risk of death or serious disability due to these organ systems being less developed when the baby is born. So why is this topic important to me? Why did I choose to research it? Well, I'm currently a nurse assistant on Mother Baby, which is at the Women's Hospital in the Methodist Health System. We typically only see babies that are born after 36 weeks gestation, so those are considered late preterm infants. So most of the babies in general are healthy and doing well on our floor. So I just do not know a whole lot about preterm infants, as they're usually admitted to the NICU on high-risk floors. In my future career as a sonographer after I graduate, it's beneficial to understand these last weeks of pregnancy, as during OB scanning, looking for these organ developments could be an important aspect of my career. And I also just find it important because there is just a lot that is unknown about preterm births, a lot of factors that contribute, but not a lot of answers. So that just bothers me and makes me want to learn more about it. So as you can see here, this is the state of Nebraska data and trends for preterm births. This chart and these statistics were gathered from americashealthrankings.org. So these are 2019 results. The Nebraska ranked at 28th lowest of preterm births at 9.9% of births being at preterm, so at or before 37 weeks gestation, which 28th is right in that middle. There was a 0.9% rise since 2016. As you can see in this next slide, this chart and image was also obtained from americashealthrankings.org. Nebraska's rate at 9.9% of births being preterm is right at the national average of the United States at 9.9%. Social determinants of health that may impact preterm birth. So as I kind of mentioned earlier, the medical cause of preterm birth is not exactly known. There's many risk factors that have been associated with preterm births that could put mothers at a higher risk for going into preterm labor. However, there's not an exact, this is what causes preterm births. So going into more social determinants that may drive preterm births is, according to the CDC, preterm births are more prevalent in ethnic and racial minorities. The United States average at the time of this data was 11.8%. American Indians and Alaska Natives were at 16.2%, followed by Black Americans at 12.9%. So both of those percentages are much higher than the national average. So this may lead to us thinking that ethnic and racial minorities are just at a higher risk for preterm births. However, one of the supplemental readings that I have a link for you later in the presentation is a scholarly article that ties environmental factors to have more of a effect on preterm births, and that because of socioeconomic ability and status, that these racial minorities and ethnic minority groups may just actually be more prone to live in environments where they are exposed to these factors such as lead and iodine poisoning and other smog that may drive preterm births. So I found that interesting. Going further, religion may drive preterm births. The use of contraceptives kind of varies throughout different religions. The risk of a preterm birth increases with the amount of children that you carry. So I'm sure a lot of us may know families that are very religious in a certain religion, maybe Catholics, maybe Mormons. There's many other religions, but they do not believe in the use of contraceptives. That could lead to them having multiple births, putting them at a higher risk for a preterm birth. And then finally, what I think can drive most of our topics more than anything else is just socioeconomic status. My second scholarly article that I have for you to read that is presented later in this presentation is a correlation study that directly correlates the amount of preterm births in income averages for countries across the world. So I will provide that later. It was very interesting in seeing that direct correlation. So what are my ideas on how to improve preterm birth? Obviously, I think the number one factor that we can help change is just medical research. I gave an example I wrote here, March of Dimes. They're an organization that helps research preterm births and all abnormalities for infants and newborns. So just any further medical information that we are able to provide mothers and able to provide families is going to help drive how can we prevent these preterm births from happening? How can we make sure that these babies are carried to term and fully developed? Along with that is education. People may not know about preterm births. They might not even understand what a preterm birth is. They don't know that smoking or having high cholesterol or high blood pressure may drive their chances of having a preterm birth up. So educating the public, having resources that are available, which also ties into my next topic of providing affordable care, is going to help drive these prenatal care visits that can put mothers and families in a position where they understand that this is what can help us. So this ties also into having that affordable care, affordable education for pregnant women. Here are the links to those two previously mentioned supplemental readings that I provided: environmental factors affecting preterm birth, and then the correlation between socioeconomic status and income for preterm births. My critical thinking question, I gave you guys a few of my personal ideas on how I think that preterm births can be lowered at a lower rate. But what I have for you is, how do you think that we as healthcare providers in whatever specific profession that you will be going into, whether it be nursing, whether it be sonography, how do you think that we can help prevent and lower rates of preterm birth in our own communities? So this may be in central Nebraska, if that's where you plan on going. This may be in Omaha. This may be in the Omaha metro area. This might be in North Omaha, where we see a lot of those racial and ethnic minority groups that may be at a higher risk, per se, for these preterm births. So what can you do as a professional to help lower these? And here are my references. Thank you.